tell me about, either one of you, what happened in terms of your wanting to make the company part of your career. Ryan, you started out saying that you were interning and the bug bit you, but then Michael, how did that all go?
Well, Brian was working here while I was in college, and you were still just kind of fresh into the whole industry and figuring out the way and making some changes and moves and all that with how things were and how things maybe should be. And then when I expressed my interest to you to get into this...
Go ahead, tell them.
You said, I don't think you want to do this. And I said, bullshit, I do want to do this. And you said, you pretty much put me under the microscope of, you're not going to do this. And I said, I am going to do this. And this went back and forth for a little bit until I proved to you why and how I'm going to do this in a letter that I wrote to you.
A 3-page letter.
A 3-page letter of why this is something that I need to fulfill for myself, and this is something that is a passion of mine.
And I had concerns because here we are now with both of my sons entering what I would call a very risky business. Because, first of all, emanating out of Detroit, I mean, the only relationship of our company to anything else musical doesn't really exist. There's Motown, we had Motown. And we had stars, but did they have anything to do with what we do?
No, there was nothing else here.
No. What kinds of things, now that you guys have been doing this a long time, and it's a family business, what kinds of things could assuredly produce failure? We've been around for 50 years.
Yeah.
Why? Why, and could we have failed? We can still fail, of course, but what are the things that could create failure?
Well, number one is family. I mean, there's the three of us here, and if we didn't get along, I don't think much would be happening here. So
well, I mean, you're so right. I mean, that's number one. Yeah.
I think very fortunate. I mean, there's how many family businesses fail? I think there's probably over 50%. I would guess probably do.
Especially when the sons come in, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have to pull his weight, but
okay.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think, I mean, luckily we always had a very close family, not only in the family of the four of us with mom, but also beyond that with close family and cousins, and I mean, family was always a big part of us growing up, and having family values and getting along with each other and compromising and I mean, Michael and I have different personalities completely, but we still find common ground and ways to compromise and work together. I mean, if we couldn't do that, or working with you and being able to, over all these years, being able to, and we all have very different traits and very different characteristics in the way that we, whether it's the way that we produce a job or interact with each other, and we just have to find ways to...
Or the direction that we want to see the business go into.
Sure. And we have debates about that kind of stuff. We have discussions.
Has there been any jealousy between you two that you would be able to say that could create some problem?
Well, he's jealous every day.
What about wives? How important are you're both married. You, Brian, have two. I have two
wives. Two wives.
No, I'm sorry, not two wives.
Where's the other one?
Yeah.
Can't tell you.
So you have two children. Michael, you have three children. You're both married. You have what? How important are the wives in these situations?
Well, I mean, in our work, I mean, with growing up with mom, I mean, you always worked very late, and you were gigging out on the weekends, so you were gone on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights until 2-3 in the morning, so you weren't home a lot. and or during the week you were working, and even when you came home you'd go into your little study office and play the piano and work.
Right.
I mean, now with what we're doing, I mean, Michael and I, not right now because of the pandemic, but we travel a lot. I mean, we're on the road all the time. I mean, myself more international, Michael all around the U.S. I mean, every other week we're somewhere, and there has to be a lot of understanding from your wife or your spouse to be able to work with that and that relationship and the dynamic and being in and out, and even when we're in, we're still out because we're working around the globe.
Speaking of international, I know, of course, when I started, I was doing a lot of car jingles, and then naturally I was able to pull that out so I could lift it beyond that scope to other things, including film trailers and music for other media. But what things would you say that you've done that have taken the business beyond in terms of the scope of what we've been able to pull off for these 50 years? You came 25 years ago, you 20 years, 19, 20 years ago. What things would you say, well, beyond what the old man was doing, we did blah? What was that?
I mean, I would say the diversification of what we've done has been a game changer. I mean,
Absolutely.
Creatively, for all of our teams, I mean, everyone's growth from that creatively has just been exponential.
Just the push into other markets.
Different locations, New York, LA, Hamburg, Germany.
Michael, why don't you talk to the audience about our first entry into New York?
Yeah, we were looking at different spaces, and we finally found a space that we were wanting to land on, and it came down to then the negotiation for the space and signing a lease. So, me always being the one that likes to negotiate, said, "Dad, I'll go in and negotiate this deal."
I went with you.
Yeah, you were with me, and we stayed in a beautiful hotel with rats and mice running around.
Thank you very much for setting that up, Michael.
Of course. And
it's a good deal.
It was a great deal. So we walk into this building, and you said, "Michael, I'm going to do the negotiating. Watch how I handle this." And so I said, "Okay, have at it." We walk, we go up this elevator ride to whatever 14th floor or whatever it was, and meet the owner of the building. And there's a huge conference room table. We're at one end, he's at the other end. And so I'm waiting to see what you're going to say. And he says, "Okay, if you guys want this is what it is. This is how much it is per square foot, yada, yada, yada." And then you tried to negotiate. Mm-hmm. And completely failed.
Thank you, Michael.
And he said, "If you don't want this space, go back to your farmland in Michigan," and kept going off and off and off. And it was, I'm sitting back laughing inside and thinking, "Oh boy, here we go." And
Did he say something like, "Boys, you better hike up your pants. You're in New York City."
You better pull up your pants. You're in New York City.
And that was that. You signed the lease as is.